There's an indie developer I follow on Twitter called Cyactro, who I first learned about through Super Kiwi 64, this fantastic little retro-style 3D platformer I heard about on Twitter. They've also put out some other great retro-style games like Tori and McBat. And one day, out of the blue, this thing emerges. Immediately, the giant nerd in me recognized the Donkey Kong Country influence in its graphics. This is what you'd call pre-rendered 3D, and it was used to great effect in the era of the CRT to create a sort of fake 3D look. 2D games like Donkey Kong Country, Sonic 3D Blast, or even Killer Instinct made use of this technique to mimic 3D capabilities, and even later games on 3D-capable hardware like Final Fantasy or Resident Evil continued to use pre-rendering to create more detailed backgrounds. Beanie's art style mimics this look, like, perfectly. Well, that is, how it looks on modern displays. Pre-rendered graphics, of course, really shined on CRTs, where developers could take advantage of the inherent blooming and blurring of the display to really sell the look. With the release of 6th-gen game consoles, this look became increasingly less prevalent due to superior graphics hardware making higher fidelity 3D possible in real time. If you're a 2000s kid like I am, you might have played some of these old games growing up, but your go-tos were probably a bit more contemporary. I think that's what makes Beanie's art style, and for that matter, a lot of pre-rendered 90s games visuals, so attractive. There's a hint of familiarity there, even if it's a little before my time. It's like nostalgia for an age that you're too young to have actually experienced. But this is all just the presentation. How does the game actually play, after all?
If it's not fun, why bother?
Beanie, and all of Cyactro's other games for that matter, have this awesome feel to them. They all handle great, look great, and sound great. And in an age dominated by predatory live service games, microtransactions, and games that release buggy and broken,
I can't wait to drop off the battle bus and meet some of you on the battlefield in Fortnite.
A cohesive little retro game like Beanie is exactly what I'm looking for from time to time. The story of the game is simple. You're Beanie, and you gotta climb to the top of each level to reach a beehive so you can collect honey for your friend Kiwi who's building a raft. Little fun fact that we'll revisit later, this is also the setup for Cyactro's other game, Super Kiwi 64. That's right everybody, Beanie Cinematic Universe. Beanie plays pretty good. When I saw how the gameplay looked, this little bug rolling around left and right trying to make precise platforming jumps, I expected something that feels kinda loose and janky and physicsy, but the game actually controls pretty tight. I had no issue at all jumping from platform to platform, even closing some pretty long distances. And there's a pretty forgiving yet satisfying difficulty curve throughout the whole game. You're introduced to hazards one by one. Little snail guys that move slow, then ants that act like conveyor belts, rain that pushes you to one side of the screen, trampoline bees, falling platform bees, spike balls, this thing. And adjusting to all these new obstacles feels totally natural. The game never has to stop you to teach you anything. No stupid annoying tutorial mission, no little guy pausing the game going, "Aw man, Beanie, you gotta press the button to do the thing." None of this garbage. The game's only really like 20 minutes long, but it's so solid the entire way through. You could easily just play it again and have even more fun now that you've got a handle on how it plays. And evidently the developer thought so too, because beating the game unlocks a whole new time attack mode. Now, I don't usually go for that sort of thing, because it usually just feels like developers getting lazy and making you play the game again to pad out the runtime. But in the case of Beanie, I think it actually makes sense. 20 minutes in, I've only just started. I've barely learned to play the game and I'm ready for more challenge. And your reward for beating time attack mode is even cooler. The final level of time attack mode is actually a whole new level, and it's Christmas themed. I don't know what it is. I really like levels in games that are atmospheric winter levels or just straight Christmas themed. You can probably blame Christmas Nights for that one. And once you beat this delightful little level, you get one more prize. A brand new playable character. Meet Tori from Cyactro's excellent Tori games. Tori can double jump, which just gives you another way to beat all the levels. That's some impressive replayability, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to mention. All of this is set to a great little soundtrack. It's really only got 6 tracks, but they're all put to really good use. The Christmas level is laid back and cheery. The main theme is upbeat and happy. And the jungle level is frantic and has this great bass line. Every track evokes this potent sense of nostalgic whimsy that feels like it's been ripped straight out of a Super Nintendo game, like Donkey Kong Country.
Hey!
Actually, all of the Cyactro games have fantastic music that fit each of them quite well. No joke, the desert music from Super Kiwi 64 is probably one of my favorite tracks I've heard in a long time. Maybe one of my favorites ever, but there's some pretty stiff competition there. And about that whole Beanie cinematic universe thing, this is probably a good time to mention, Beanie's super secret ending cutscene that I don't want to spoil leads directly into Super Kiwi 64 in a pretty big way. And I know spoiler guarding a $1 game and its $3 sequel seems kinda silly, but trust me, you just gotta play them. You'll understand what I'm talking about. There's probably a lot more to this whole Cyactro cinematic universe thing, which is something I'll maybe revisit at some point because I'm very down to play future games. Especially when the best one is $1. Seriously, Beanie is a quick, breezy 10 out of 10. Do yourself a favor and pick it up on Switch or on Steam. I promise you won't regret it. I mean, you kinda can't. It's $1.